All right, folks, welcome back to the Crisis Report. It is September 27th, 2025. Actually, it's technically September 28th, 2025. So I guess we're getting these out as early as you could possibly get them, right? So we are going to get started. But before we do, we are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. If you are into possibly or considering putting your IRA into gold and silver, your 401k, this is a great company to do it for. So we are partnered with them for a reason. I don't like to work with stupidity, so I like them. All right, let's get started on your crisis report. There's a lot here, so I'm not going to get long-winded. Appreciate you being here. God bless you all. Here we go. Russian Foreign Intelligence Service has claimed that Europe plans to occupy Moldova. Soldiers in French military uniforms have reportedly been seen at a gas station in Moldova. Okay. Thailand is reportedly deploying tanks and military equipment along its borders with Cambodia. There are also reports of civilian evacuations in Thailand's Surin province, which borders Cambodia. And U.S. Energy Secretary says that due to insufficient domestic capacity, the U.S. is forced to continue purchasing enriched uranium from Russia. Oh, the irony. Ukrainian President Zelensky, in a meeting with Trump, requested more ATACMS or ATACMS missiles with a range of up to 300 kilometers, which raise the possibility of things of lifting restrictions on U.S. weapons strikes deep into Russian territory, but made no direct commitment. Pentagon is reportedly preparing extensive reforms to the combat use doctrine of all branches of the armed forces and a reduction in the number of generals and admirals, approximately 20%. Maybe that's what they're talking about with Mr. Hegseth. Pentagon is prepared to conduct strikes against cartels in Venezuelan territory next week, but Trump has not yet approved them. So, hacker group Radiant has stolen data on over 8,000 children from Kiddo International Nurseries in London. Great job. Will Wilson, co-founder of Antithesis, which is an AI contractor for Palantir, said, quote, "It's very possible that we are entering a world where very soon any kind of cognitive labor, any kind of reason, any kind of thought, it'll be a thing that weirdos do. So chalk me up as a weirdo, bro. I will always critically think. I will always use reason. And I will always question what the heck it is you and your other crapheads are doing. We see you. You're the weirdo." UN Security Council has rejected Russian and Chinese attempts to delay snapback sanctions against Iran, which take effect on 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, which is today or yesterday, 4 hours ago. Iran says it will withdraw from an IAEA nuclear inspections if the sanctions are imposed, and then suppose they happen. Iranian foreign minister says the imminent implementation of snapback sanctions against Iran has actively and intently paved the way for dangerous escalation. Netanyahu's mission briefed American influencers today, stating that TikTok is the, quote, most important, end quote, weapon in securing Israel's right-wing support. Weapons change over time. The most important ones are the social media. He said the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. Netanyahu also noted X is crucial, emphasizing Elon Musk is not an enemy, he's a friend. We should talk to him, end quote. Larry Ellison is the guy that's basically driving this sale. And, well, let's just say on my subscribe star, I've got some videos of him saying some concerning things. Syria issues arrest warrants for former President Bashar al Assad on charges of premeditated murder, torture resulting in death, deprivation of liberty. Russia's Lavrov says that Russia has never had and does not have any such intentions to attack NATO or EU countries. However, any aggression against my country will be met with a decisive response, he said. Trump says the 274 FBI agents that were secretly placed into the crowd on January 6th were, quote, probably acting as agitators and insurrectionists, end quote, and owes an investigation into dirty cops and crooked politicians to the patriots that were made to pay a big price, he said on his Truth Social. Immigration accounted for nearly 98% of the UK's population growth year to 2024, to June 2024. Pam Bondi says she is deploying federal agents to ICE facilities countrywide. U.S. military is preparing options for major strikes on drug cartels inside Venezuela. That could go sideways. FBI has fired agents who were photographed kneeling during a 2020 racial justice protest after the death of George Floyd. Good. Trump administration official working with RFK Jr. is physically assaulted by a deranged leftist in the United Nations bathroom this week. Nearly 2 million people have signed a petition opposing digital ID cards in the UK after Starmer came out and said they had to use them. Gil Bates has now been named in the Epstein files released by both Democrats and Republicans. Serbia's President Aleksandar Vučić told the UN General Assembly that the 1999 NATO bombing opened Pandora's box and condemned the West's ongoing impunity. He called the intervention a violation of international law, insisting its consequences are still being felt 26 years later. Venezuela has declared a state of maximum preparedness in the U.S. naval forces, continuing operations off its Caribbean coast, fueling widespread fears of a potential invasion. In response, government will conduct nationwide disaster preparedness drills on Saturday, September 27th, while ruler Nicolas Maduro weighs declaring a state of emergency to bolster defenses. Midnight is coming. NBC News reports the United States military is preparing for an all-out bombing campaign against the cartel of the Suns affiliated narco networks in Venezuela. U.S. military officials are drawing up options to target drug traffickers inside Venezuela. Strikes within the country's borders could potentially begin in a matter of weeks, 4 sources told NBC News. Those sources are 2 U.S. officials familiar with the planning and the other sources familiar with the discussions. They spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the plans publicly. Striking inside Venezuela would be another escalation in the Trump administration's military campaign against alleged drug targets and its stance toward Venezuela's government. In recent weeks, U.S. military struck at least 3 boats from Venezuela, allegedly carrying narco traffickers and drugs that could threaten Americans. President Donald Trump on Truth Social said that the administration has not provided evidence that drugs were on all of those boats. An official in the Dominican Republic, alongside one from the U.S. Embassy there, did say at a press conference Sunday that drugs were found in the water after one strike. the IDF will not remain indifferent as the Egyptian army strengthens its forces in Sinai. Estonian police have discovered debris believed to be from the Russian kamikaze drone near the Luitma Nature Reserve on the Baltic Sea, coast in southwestern Estonia, close to the Latvian border. Dutch Schiphol Airport, Polderbaan, runway, closed for 45 minutes today after pilots reported a drone near an aircraft at 12:10 p.m. One pilot noted that the drone came within 50 meters of their plane. Police and helicopter searched and found no trace. Suspecting a hobbyist drone, flights were diverted and the runway reopened at 1 p.m. Drone flights were near Schiphol are prohibited due to safety concerns. 22 familiar incidents reported at Dutch airports in 2025. Netherlands and Norway have reported new sightings identifying drones over their country's airspace. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer plans to combat illegal migrants through the enforcement of a nationwide digital ID. Without digital ID, no one in the UK will be able to legally get a job. Oh, of course, because no one's ever paid anybody under the table. Scottish government said they do not support the implementation of the digital ID. Northern Ireland echoed the sentiment. Over 1 million British citizens have signed a petition asking the British government to scrap the measure. Analyzing Trump's statements about the authorization to shut down Russian aircraft, suddenly realized the media in most cases is misinterpreting his words. This is important. Originally, Trump said that NATO countries have the right to shoot down Russian aircraft if they violate airspace. However, when asked for clarification on whether the U.S. would support allies in the event of an attack on a Russian drone or plane, he answered evasively, quote, "It depends on the circumstances." Diplomatic language, this means that Washington is removing automatic obligations under NATO and shifting responsibility to each individual alliance country. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte also spoke on this topic. He stated that the alliance can shoot down Russian planes that threaten civilian infrastructure or population, but none of them threatened anything, as the reaction of European countries, especially Estonia, looks extremely hysterical and possibly ridiculous. Goes on from there. It's a longer one. This is one of the reasons why you go to the Substack. If you're not part of it, it's a great way to get all of this stuff into links so you can go check it out for yourself. Maybe you don't think I'm reporting honestly. Go read it. It's all there for you. Houston's predominantly Hispanic Second Ward neighborhood, a family's annual Halloween display has caused controversy online and throughout the community after many have flocked to see the spectacle. Decorations have included 4 mannequins, 2 wearing red hats, depicting hanging from ropes on a gallows topped with a Mexican flag. Third mannequin, dressed in a poncho and straw hat, stands over a 4th suit-wearing figure that is tied up on the ground next to multiple coffins. Do you live in America or do you live in Mexico, bro? TBUSA CEO Erica Kirk has said that she is so excited to publish Charlie Kirk's unused material, including the late conservative activist speeches in unaired specials. Quote, "Buckle up because there's a lot of content to be had," she said on the Charlie Kirk show, which is going with him in absentia. President Trump criticized Lisa Monaco, Microsoft's president, global affairs, urging the company to fire her, notably after Microsoft terminated some services for the IDF less than 48 hours earlier. Man behind the digital ID push is Larry Ellison. He's the owner of Oracle, CBS, CNN, and soon TikTok. He wants data centralization and total surveillance. Ellison wants to combine your personal banking and voting data under a single digital ID. It will add social media and jab information and sell this solution to governments around the world as a way to, quote, improve services, end quote. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on, he said about a year and a half ago. Do you guys want to have everything you do recorded? Everything. Think about it. Maybe you do. Germany is considering allowing its military to shoot down drones. UBS has said that hard data shows a 93% probability of a U.S. recession is coming. United Nations General Assembly has had condemnations from 2015 to 2025 of different countries and their activities. Some of the countries are Russia with 29, North Korea with 10, Syria with 12, Myanmar with 9, Iran with 10, US with 11, and a certain country in the Middle East that has a white and blue flag with 173. Drone came within 50 meters of colliding with a Transavia passenger jet that was about to land at Schiphol Airport, Amsterdam, a few hours ago. One of the airport's main runways had to be closed. At this hour, sanctions on Iran are being reinstated. The snapback mechanism is being activated. 6 Security Council resolutions adopted between 2006 and 2010 will take effect again. These sanctions include arms embargo, ban on uranium enrichment and processing, prohibition on launching ballistic missiles capable of carrying nuclear warheads, and any kind of related activities or transferring associated technology, freezing Iranian assets worldwide and banning the entry of Iranian individuals and companies into various countries, and authorization for states to inspect aircraft and ships belonging to Iranian airlines and shipping companies to ensure they are not carrying prohibited goods. Governor of Oregon has said, quote, "There is no insurrection, there is no threat to national security, and there is no need for military troops in our major city," end quote. Rudy Giuliani and Dominion have settled a $1.3 billion defamation suit over the 2020 election claims. Case will be permanently dismissed and terms remain confidential. Iran and Russia finalized a $25 billion deal to construct 4 nuclear power plants in Iran. Entire Ukraine is currently under an air raid attack. Ukraine has received 2 Patriot anti-aircraft systems, and Israel from Israel, and more are coming. Magnitude 5.1 earthquake took place in the off coast of Oregon, 147 miles west of Coos Bay in Coos County. Tsunami is not expected, so that's a win. Magnitude 5.1 earthquake took place. Oh, God, that's a doubler. That's a doubler. The German Federal Minister of Interior, Alexander Dobrindt, has stated that they are considering revising air safety laws to allow the armed forces to shoot down suspicious drones over Germany. Cosmic Shy, thanks a lot. She's referencing Porker Now, my pig. He is now going to be with friends on a much bigger, much happier. He was totally happy here, but he's just he's going to live out his days with a companion and farms and all that. But anyway, we are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. Friends, if you are checking it out, go to the link in the description, do an informational with them, and then from there you can decide to go forward or not. Highly recommended. They're helping people change their IRAs into gold and silver, 401ks, and all that. Possibly you're looking for an OUPES solar generator. Well, they did have a deal. It's expired, but I bet if you were to contact them and say, hey, pretty, please, with sugar on top, I'd like that deal, you might have good luck. Other than that, friends, the world is on fire and everything is just going great. So keep your head swiveling, keep doing the things, keep prepping. Check out my links from other descriptions in the description here. Truth, Gab, Twitter, X, Subscribestar, Locals. Sure, I'm missing a few. Yeah, go check all those out. Substack, we can get a transcript of all this. And we appreciate you being here. God bless. Hit that like button, do the subscribe thing, and we will see you on the next one. Have a good day. Have a good night. Go sleep.